Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jimmy Pockets, aka James, Empty Pockets Garage. Uh, that's one of today's live stream is just going to be. Let's just recap on what's been going on for the last, well, since the election. I went live to talk about the FEMA thing. I did some videos and then I went live, and when I did that, obviously I'm not scripted, so um, I got critiqued a little bit about how I tried to get the information out. Uh, I was told I didn't get to the point fast enough. So, and I want to just always stress that, um, I'm not a professional. And what I tried to do when I went live instead of making a video is first I wanted to connect the dots between FEMA down in North Carolina, Florida, and what they're doing in Michigan, and then what we found out about the things they did over the summer with the military and other agencies uh, for trying to uh, basically suppress uh, U.S. citizens in case of an uprising due to them not certifying the election. So, if it took me too long to get the information out when I went live, I apologize for that. I try to do what I can. Like I said, I'm not professional. It's not scripted. So I just talk as I think about stuff. And sometimes that's not a good thing, I guess. Hey, TB. So today I just wanted to do a recap. And plus I want to have a little fun with it. Uh, I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore. Because they used to would make fun of both sides, which is cool. That's what you're supposed to do. That's comedy. Uh, but over the last few years, they have not. Uh, so they've made fun of President Trump. Uh, oh my God, they've probably done that 50 times on that show, making fun of him. Oh, thank you, TV. So you know, it's their cold start they did the other night was hilarious, and they have been making fun of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris this year. Of course, they pretty much have to. It's comedic gold when you see either one of them up on a mic in front of a mic in front of people. It's just it's comedic gold. You can't help but laugh and chuckle. It, although that they're in a serious position, uh, you may not want to laugh. I guess. I mean, because they have a serious job, and yet they basically, lack of a better word, they act like imbeciles when they get up and get on a mic. So, thanks, Francis. Yeah, I just like I said in the beginning, I just wanted to say, if I ramble and I hem haul around about stuff, I'm trying to think of the best way of saying something, and I'm not the best communicator, but I'm trying to do this as best I can. But today, let's go over about what I talked about in my promptu live stream. And from what I understand is, and it's not necessarily my videos, but because there's a couple of people that's got videos out there that have like a million plus followers, so I know it's not my videos, but enough people called in, and now they've changed their mind about using that Air Force base in Michigan. From what I understand, they said due to the overwhelming attention that even though they claim that those trailers are only going to be staged there for emergency purposes and not for what they were getting the phone calls over, which is what we talked about on my last live stream. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I trust nothing they put out in a press release. So I call bullshit. They were going to do exactly what we talked about, what I talked about, what a couple other people's talked about. They literally were setting up, and look, just because they're not using that location don't mean they don't have backup locations. And I would truly love to find out where that is, so we can call them out on that one. And the other ones that are already in place around the country. That's kind of curious. But getting back to that, I tried to connect the dots, connecting FEMA with the military and Homeland Security and just weird stuff. I mean, you wouldn't think that kind of stuff would happen in America. It's kind of like, and it's off topic, but it's not off topic. Kind of like when J.D. Vance had that interview with the Dana Bash, I think it was, where she was trying to fact check President Trump, saying that the Venezuelan gangs were running, taking over Colorado and this and that, and she was fact checking President Trump. They cannot give him the decency of agreeing with him on anything. So, I don't know how many people seen that, but J.D. Vance did the greatest deal when she said, it's only 4 or 5. They talked to the governor. President Trump was wrong. They're not taking over the state. They're only taking over 4 or 5 apartment complexes. And then, of course, J.D. Vance is like, do you listen to yourself? Do you hear what you're saying? 4 or 5 apartment complexes is being taken over by Venezuelan gangs in America. In America. That there, so, you can't trust nothing they say, nothing. So, it's like this deal with the trailers being staged in Michigan. They got caught with their hands in a cookie jar, basically, is how I put that. And so, we got them on that. Now we got to keep putting the pressure on. And I seen where like I said, I'm jumping around topics here because I have no specific topic. I just wanted to do a review over the stuff I've been talking about and some stuff that I'm going to talk about in my next live for the night owls. And for those who ain't going to be up that late, obviously you'll be able to watch the video of it. But hey, Marianne, Los Angeles. I feel for you. You probably love where you live in Los Angeles. And I've never been there, so I can't. But growing up as a kid, it was one of those places you wanted to go. The mamas and the papas, California dream, and I'm a car guy. And I thought when I was a kid that was a place I wanted to be. When I got older, I was going to get out of high school. I did auto body and paint. I was going to take my skill set to California and earn a living in the hot rod business out there. But I'm glad I didn't, because I definitely don't agree with their politics, and I'd probably be seriously unhappy with that move if I'd have done that. Now, I probably would have liked it in the beginning, because California wasn't always this crazy. But, saying that, I'm just saying I don't mean to crap on California, Marianne, but it's just your government there is just horrible. But, getting back to what I was talking about, I seen where the we'll go where I originally started with all this. In the beginning was first it was FEMA, and another thing. This is where I like not to get off topic again. They called President Trump a liar when he said that about the Colorado Venezuelan gangs. When he was saying that FEMA was not helping certain people in North Carolina in that area because of their politics, and we know this to be the case. For that to be true, what he said is true. They called him a liar on that because we know many stories, and I did videos on it too, about them not helping, if anything, hindering, and based almost, you can call it stealing the supplies the locals were putting together by good people all over the country to help them in North Carolina and areas like that. So we know that they did that, and now since the Florida thing, it's proof beyond proof, and I haven't heard them apologize for getting it wrong. And of course, don't hold your breath on that. But getting back, I seen where the young lady who got fired, I seen where she did another interview, and this time she was dumb enough to go on Fox News. I'm thinking she'll just take any interview to where she can get out there and talk. I think she's working towards getting some kind of a settlement from the government for getting fired. She's trying to, take a dull blade and try to cut into the meat of the government and make it hurt till they offer to pay her something to hush up. What she don't realize is it's the U.S. government. They don't necessarily have to pay you anything. You could just end up in a robbery gone wrong, or all I got to do is ask the Clintons. The government probably gets all their advice from the Clintons about how to get rid of somebody. But saying that, she compared Trump supporters to having to deal or not having to deal with a person who has a vicious dog. In their policies, they don't have to go and help somebody at a home if they got a dog that they are in fear of getting bit. But she literally compared that to the same feeling they have when they see a Trump sign in somebody's yard or window, that they know that person in there is going to be just like a rabid dog. Hey, Jason. So when I heard her say that, I played it back 3 times just to hear how she said that. And she literally, you can't mistake it any other way. Literally compared us to being rabid dogs who want to bite anybody that comes to the door. And I don't know. I just like, she needs to shut up, because if she don't watch it, she can get sued by the residents of these towns that she's part of, supposed to have been part of helping out. Hey, Lori. Hey, Al. So if she thinks, actually, I don't think just her. Let's, this is where I jump around, guys. This is what I do. So her boss, which I gave his name the other day. Hang on, I wrote it down in here somewhere. Let's see here. I know his last name's Hersey. So Chad Hersey. So that's her boss. So, and she was fine with all this before she got fired. And I said that before. Uh, you know, HR would treat her just like a hostile, disgruntled employee who is fine with people breaking the rules while she's got a job. But if as soon as she gets fired, she wants to tell on everybody. My thing is if she didn't help write that policy about how to handle locations, houses that have Trump supporting signs and stuff in the yard or in the window, she at least agreed with it. And, you know, all this comes from mainstream media. It literally does. You cannot, these people who only get their news, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with being a Democrat, at least that it used to be. Hang on a minute, everybody. I got somebody coming in. You there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my headphones to connect. They were connected, now they're not.
Well, I can hear you. I just can't see you.
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to get my headphones to connect again. They were connected and then stopped. Hold on just a second.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to talking to everybody, and
Go ahead. You're good.
you can jump in whenever you're ready. You're up on the screen whenever your camera
Okay.
gets hooked up there. Um, or is it my end not giving you the camera? No, it's not me. There you are.
Okay. I had to reconnect my headphones. They disconnected for some reason.
Okay, turn your volume down a little bit on your mic.
Is it better
So,
now?
anyways, a little bit lower.
Well, I can only turn my phone volume down. Oh, wait a minute. Is that how you do it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. Is it too loud now?
It sounds loud, but
These are brand new headphones. They're like the same ones I used to have, but they might just be really good because maybe I just have to quiet down
let's
because
see
if I
if I
turn my
can.
phone down, I can't hear you.
Hold on, I got it. I can turn the volume down on this end. All right, we're good.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so what I was talking about, Brandy, is I was connecting the dots between them, how the mainstream media always fact checking Trump, between the
Never the other
uh,
side.
Venezuelan gangs in Colorado to them not helping, FEMA not helping them down in North Carolina. And then now we got receipts. We got literature or whatever you want to call it, policies that were written down for their groups that go out and handle the houses, the people at the homes to help them out with disaster relief, and where they compared to a Trump supporter as a rabid dog. So if they in fear of getting bit by a dog, they do not have to approach the house that has a dog that's going crazy. So now they're saying this girl, she literally said this, that if you've got a Trump sign in your yard, that they consider that as having a dog that they are in fear of being bit from. So they
Well,
are,
what are
if
you going
they
to do
in,
about in my yard? I have 4 Trump flags blowing right all through the front of it.
well,
Not
you're
signs,
on,
flags.
you're shit out. Well, here's probably all right in
I say
Florida,
my people love my flags. So,
but still the how they do that, uh, literally, and I was saying that uh, mainstream news, if these people, and then, when I say these people, I'm talking about Democrats who watch CNN and MSNBC and all of them. If that's the only news outlets they watch, they're going to think that all of uh, Trump supporters are racist and bigots and homophobic and transphobic and just all kinds of just dumb stuff that and we know this by watching all these meltdowns on TikTok and YouTube, all these people getting on in front of a camera. What kind of huh?
I'm trying to figure out why it's black on both sides of me and not a
This
full.
because your phone, you've got your camera set up on your
I
phone.
set it up the same time. I was going to show you my new shirt. Can you read it?
Uh
It says "Daddy's home" and it's got Trump in a Santa house hat in front of the White House. But no, I was trying to figure out the screen thing. Go ahead, keep talking.
Oh, I was reading. Somebody sent me.
Yeah.
Tried to post it on a video, but was deleted. Did you get the email? Richard, when did you send that email, sir? The reason I ask is if it's just like Ben today, then no,
Okay.
I have not. It doesn't mean I didn't get it. It means I haven't looked. If it
What
was
Al
earlier,
just said in the comments, I completely have agreed with that, and I've been saying it for days.
yeah, what?
I'm worried about the transfer of power. They've been way too nice. I've been saying it for days. Like they're being awfully, like outside of the view and the media saying their same crap. Like it's just been real quiet. I'm
Did
waiting for the. It's like the quiet before the storm. I feel like.
Did you watch my video on the FEMA semi trailers in Michigan?
No, to be honest, I haven't watched much of anything in the
Okay,
last
well
few
then you
days.
okay over the summer. This is where all this ties in together. This is the thing we're talking about. This is how I was connecting the dots. What the role FEMA is playing, and how they're switching gears because it's like Jeremy Raskin saying that they're going to use the 14th Amendment,
I've seen that.
Section 3. Okay, but when he said that, they thought that either she was going to win or actually he was going to win because I think he said it when Joe was still running. But either way, they thought even if Trump won, it would be so close that it would be contestable.
It's not close
With
though.
President Trump getting, but with President Trump getting the popular vote too, then it kind of changes things a little bit. DOT.
Yeah, there was actually something that I seen, and I follow a girl on YouTube called Squirrel Tribe, and she posts every day. And when everybody keeps thinking Trump has told the secret, remember he was at the rally and he was bringing up Matt Gaetz, and he was like, "If we win, we got a secret. We won't tell you what after the election." But he said it had something to do with the House when he said that, and people keep overlooking that. They keep saying, "Oh, this is the secret." Like Matt Gaetz was going. I don't think that's the secret. When they when they put in who they did to head the Senate, when it wasn't who it should have been, I will have to go back and get details on it, and I will send it to you later. There is an amendment that has never been used in history. That and oh, I don't want to misquote it or whatever, but they want to see if this guy's going to play like he's supposed to, because there's an amendment that's never been used that if he gets in there and tries to block Trump from doing something, there's a loophole where the House can get involved and everything else, and he can throw that person out and then place and put in there who he wants. So I feel like that's why the first, like the most popular person did not get put ahead of Senate. They're like because God forbid they don't want to play ball and they want to start going against us. He does have a loophole that's never been used, but he can use it. Trump is not stupid. He is very smart. You guys, if you just look that up, and I'll send you the video later. I didn't know I was jumping on here right this second, or I would have had it ready.
Well, that's okay. Well, now what I was getting back to is, there was a deal where somebody had found out that they were going to park 350 semi trailers of supplies and equipment at a closed down Air Force base in Escoda, Michigan, and they were, and in the township meeting, the local politicians there uh, pretty much said that they'd been contacted by FEMA to let them know that they were going to be parking them there. A6 string. But the thing is this is where I connect all the dots, Brandy. When I did this live stream the other day, uh, the fact is okay. So that in itself sounded kind of strange, uh, but now we found out there was a classified military exercise done over the summer that involved FEMA and other agencies, government agencies, and the whole exercise was about how to suppress and detain and arrest
Yeah, I seen that.
U.S. citizens. So, but that was so there was a whistleblower, and the thing, what I was just saying is, we found out, or I found out this morning, early this morning, because I don't sleep very well,
Same.
that the the director that was in charge of that part with from FEMA has put out a press release saying that because of all the phone calls that they've been getting, that for security reasons, because that's not what those trailers are going to be parked there for, but because everybody thinks that they're being parked there for nefarious reasons, that they have decided to not put them there anymore. So that means videos like, not necessarily mine, but other people who have more followers than me, make a
Absolutely.
difference. And this is why I was saying in my live stream, if they know, see if when they get caught like this, our biggest defense is to be on offense, and to be on offense means that all about it. It's not, they don't have the element of surprise. You know what they're going to do. You tell them you know what they're going to do, and you tell them you're prepared for what they're going to do, and then they just, it kind of like takes the wind off the sails there, because, and then I go back to, I have a hard time believing that our volunteer military, the family members, neighbors, sons, daughters, uncles, aunts, mothers, and fathers that are part of the military, I find it hard to believe that when push comes to shove, that they're going to do this to their own neighbors and family members to suppress, uh, basically uprising if they do something stupid on January 6th.
Have you watched
So,
Line in the Sand yet?
but because,
Have you watched Line in the Sand
uh,
yet? One of the parts of
no,
that show and that documentary was his biggest surprise doing that was finding out how many people are doing things that you would never think they would do because they have no choice. They're like, I know I'm doing something wrong. It kills me every day. I can't sleep at night, but I have to raise a family. I have to support my family. And if they're paid and they have to do to get paid, there was only one guy in the whole documentary that come out. He knew he was losing his job. He knew he was going to get ridiculed, but he was like, I cry every night going to sleep. I can't do this anymore. And the rest of them were like, we got families to feed. Like, yes, we know what's going on, but what do you do? So watch that mindset of you don't think they'll do it because if they have a family to feed and they think that they don't have another choice, they will.
I didn't say
No, I'm just
don't be
saying there's more
prepared. I
people. That
I
documentary
always,
opened my eyes to that right there specifically because I'm like, Border Patrol, they're like gung ho. Like, what, when it comes to raising your family, what do you do when you're stuck in a corner? What do you do? It's like I lose my job. I lose everything. My family isn't fed, or I do what I don't want to do and my family's fed. When they come down to that decision,
no,
that's the line in the sand.
I kind of disagree with that. I kind of disagree with that to a point, because here's why. Processing some people across the southern border is not the same as pointing a gun at a fellow U.S.
You
citizen
got to go watch that
because
documentary.
they want to.
It's not just processing
Well,
people.
I'm
They're
just
watching these
saying.
kids drugged up walk over there and they turn their head, walk like act like they're not even seeing them. Because if they say something, they lose their job.
It's not the same as killing
There is a
somebody.
9-year-old child drugged up who is stumbling across the border in the middle of the night and they're turning their heads. like she's not there.
That's not the same as our
No, not
military
that's not the
pointing a
same as
gun
that.
at
But
one
I'm
of us
telling
and
you,
pulling the
you
trigger.
like it made me look at things different. Like when people are like this, like they are bowling their eyes out in their trucks. Like, what do? I have a family to feed. You don't know what kind of situations they
Well,
are actually telling these people. Like, hey, you better do what we say, or we're going to take everything away from you. And then when you're stuck in that situation, what do?
well, the thing is if they do some kind of shenanigans on January 6th,
God, I hope
or
not.
before, or in the middle, your thing's real
I'm
staticky, Brandy.
in new headphones and all the things. Can you
It,
hear me now?
it's not working. It's all digital.
Taking them off. I'm just gonna go with my phone. Hold up. Let it kick in. Can you hear me now? Hold on. Let me. Can you hear me now?
There you go. Whatever you
My microphone.
no, it's all digital. It's all
Here, hold on. Come
staticky.
back in. Oh, wait a minute. Come back in completely. This should not look like this either.
Anthony, you think if you have a neighbor, you say they have no conscience. The higher ups in our government may not have a conscience, but if you think that, and I'm not saying they some of them will or will not. I'm saying there'll be an internal conflict in our own military about what to do about this. You know, I just find it hard to believe. I don't think, I mean, I know I couldn't, especially when I know if whatever they're trying to pull doesn't succeed, that means that the change of power will go through and Donald Trump will be the 47th president of the United States. Hang on a second, guys.
Can you hear me now?
You there?
See, now I'm just on my phone.
Yeah.
I just had to clear out of everything, like had to swipe you out of my screen, and then I just went back into the link and come back in brand new. It might have just been because I was
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was.
reconnect my headphones when I first come in, so it may have threw something off. But I'm here now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was all digitally sounding.
You're good.
So, anyways, you know, we all could have a disagreement on whether or not the military will kill its own. And when I say kill its own, I mean us. Some may, you know, some are true believers that the Democrats are right, and
I
some
feel like they
are
placed a lot
not.
of people in our military
Typically,
this last 4 years with their when they're welcoming people in, like real true soldiers have not been the ones that's like gung ho, like, yeah, I'm gonna go fight for my country. But the ones who were iffy before, like, yeah, if I can go wear high heels and lipstick in the process, they are going to support their people. And it's
there
an
ain't enough
issue
of those,
because a
though.
lot of those have enlisted in the military. It's not a huge issue. Like
Yeah,
we
but
obviously have much more patriots in the military who are not going to back down, but you just got to watch for those little pockets of people who have been in there now. Once we get rid of the pockets, we're
well,
steady.
right.
We're good.
Well, that's where I'm saying they'll have an internal conflict. There'll be chaos between them
It needs to
themselves, not
happen.
just you know. It
No,
doesn't need to
inside the
happen.
military, not like the countrywide, but that little pocket of things, like they
Oh
need to
yeah,
let them
yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
hey, if you ain't for us, you're about to get fucked up. If you're gonna try and go another way, like there are soldiers in there that's gonna start checking people. Like if when shit goes down, you ain't on our side, it's not gonna end well for you. Type shit.
Well, this is where there's good chances that none of this will ever happen now, because President Trump won
He
not
won
just the
everything.
electric
My God,
college
we sweep this like no.
deal; he won
We
everything.
sweep this
So,
like back in the old days when they spent 6 hours with that fucking wicker broom, like every bit of it. That's how much he swept that shit. You don't. when the White House, the fucking House, the Senate, the popular vote, the every fucking thing under the damn sun, that doesn't happen.
Hey, Brandy, I'm on YouTube. You can't
I
be talking
forgot we're
like
not
that.
on Rumble. My bad. Hold on, let me get YouTube
Okay.
friendly.
There
I
you go.
forgot sometimes we're on Rumble and I can say things.
Yeah, Darcy in the chat room, I agree. You call her Shitmare, but Whitmore. It's all these governors of these blue states are all getting kind of cute, funny names. People start calling them, like Gavin Newsom is Gavin Newscum, and I hope everything
What do you
goes
think
good.
about Doge?
I like, yeah, Elon Musk and
That's
they.
a dream
I mean,
team.
come
And
on. I
they're
mean,
not even getting
you
paid
know,
for
and
this. Like, they're not even taking a paycheck to do this.
well, that's good.
You're
That shows
committed. Like, it's
your
a true
heart's in the right
interest of your,
place.
like, well, somebody on The View, or they started saying something about,
But
well, yeah, and then they was like, wait a minute. They started trying to say that they're only in it for the money. And somebody was like, hold up, wait a minute. They're not getting paid. They
but
decided not to take a paycheck.
well, a paycheck is a small thing. They can also claim that it'll get them contracts and stuff down the road somewhere that is worth far more than a paycheck that you'll get from the U.S. government. But saying that, I I have to believe that these two gentlemen are honest brokers. When they say they want to get rid of government waste, I
I
completely
mean, look what
believe them.
Elon did when he come in and
I
took
mean,
over
it's
Twitter. Do you see how much money they were wasting? Like, wasting just running Twitter, and that was a
yeah,
social. He's pumped that, and then they created a website that is. He said, "I want to be 100,000% transparent. Everything we find will be posted on this website. If you guys want a suggestion for what us to do, you can write it on a website. If you have a policy you want, write it on the website. And they're going to interact with people back and forth to this website, like we the people can have a say so in it, because they have an interactive website where we have a choice and a say so in everything that they do. And everything that they find and do will be on this website. It's already up.
yeah, right. That's been
But that's
like
what
that
I
for a
mean. That's
while now.
transparency, and a lot of, I mean, that the previous government would have never done that.
Yeah, you've seen where a lot of the far left people are leaving X
Oh
now
no, we lost Don
because
Lemon.
they
What are we
claim
going
it's
to
a.
do?
It ain't
I
just
know.
Don Lemon, but
You know why? Because they're getting
it's
trolled
a lot of
like a mofo, and they don't
that's
like it.
exactly what it is. Plus, they were losing.
I mean,
They were losing
Elon's still trolling
followers.
him. Elon posted this morning. He was like, woke up today and Don Lemon wasn't on X. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. He was like, my whole day's ruined.
But what was brought to our attention when I was looking at the story on that is they're not
No,
deleting their accounts. They're just whatever they
it's
do to where they put it
inactive, but
where
he
it's
can pop it back
inactive.
up at any time. And this is what's going to happen. Don Lemon, don't. He's not a head host on a morning show through CBS or nobody. He's got his own independent thing, and when he leaves X, give him 6 months. He's going to have to come back because he has to make money, and without X, it's hopeless.
Yeah, and I seen where
Oh,
Joy
that
Reid,
woman! How is she not
that's her name, I
fired?
think, from
How is she not fired?
MSNBC. Well, they're
Actually,
making
I was about to
changes at
say,
MSNBC.
this is one of the
It's a
things that I think is
possibility.
going to be a beautiful outcome. CNN, is it CNN, whatever, owned by Disney? CBS, CNN, one of them's owned by Disney.
Yeah, they
Disney has, it's been rumored and rumored and rumored, because it's been coming out that Disney has lost a lot of money since going head to head with Mr. DeSantis over the last 4 years. They've lost a significant amount of money. They decided to fight
well it,
parents
they went they, you
instead
go
of,
woke, you go
exactly, they
woke, you go
decided to
broke.
make parents of these
Just the way it
children
is.
their enemy, when the parents are the paychecks that bring business to them. So Those news stations
Hey,
were,
Coop.
they were already saying that they're going to liquidate them. They're going to sell them. They're going to sell them off because they have to make up for that money.
Well, I seen they were having problems with the star of what is that, Sleeping
Oh,
Beauty?
that woman is
Uh,
so unhinged. Yeah,
I
they
can't.
just spent, I think they said four something
Yeah,
million billion dollars on making that movie. For one, it already looks woke. They are discriminating against little people by not even. There was one little person hired to be a dwarf because they didn't want to. They said it would be wrong to hire just little people for they're freaking dwarfs. So they hired one little person and a bunch of full-grown people. One's even transgender. Like it's just a whole lot of stuff. But this girl has come out and threatened Trump supporters that she wanted them unalived and something. She was
yeah, yeah.
crying today on social media, apologizing because they're going to have to remake the whole movie. Like she's not about to be Snow White. They're trying to do damage control.
Well, with AI, hey
It's not
Jeff,
working.
with AI, they don't
They
need to
just
make the
need to
whole
make it
movie.
what it
They just
is.
need
Like
to go
stop
in there
trying
and
to recreate characters when there's no need for it. If you want to place
right. Well,
minorities or all this woke stuff into a Disney thing, make new ones. Stop trying to replace classics with things that have nothing to like. The Little Mermaid. Was it a beautiful girl? Yes, she was. Ariel has always been Casper fucking White with red hair. When they redid the movie, they had to have a minority in there to play Ariel because it was woke. But that's not what you grew up with. That's not Ariel. There is absolutely no problem with creating brand new Disney movies with all of these new characters. Bring up new characters, but stop trying to turn all of the classics into what bullshit. That's why they're going broke. That's just it. That's why they're going broke. You can't like
yeah,
they're almost saying like if you was white in a Disney character, you're horrible. They all have to be minority. They all have to be trans or have a mental disorder or something. Like it's that's why they're going broke. Parents don't want their kids to have to see political shit in every movie they show. They just don't. Like they're tired of it. They're sick of it. They're
right.
over it. Most of them. And Disney is going under. And the station that the View is on is going to go up for sale. And the way Whoopi, Sunny Hosting has to be. I've always said Joy Behar has the worst TDS syndrome I've ever seen in my life. Since the election, I think Sunny's got her beat. She went way like the most racist, ignorant shit you could ever say. Sunny said it in the last week. I ain't even heard shit out of Joy's mouth. It's just been like Sunny. That woman is just out there. It's hilarious, but it's fucking weird at the same time. Like they're just digging their own grave. They're just out there digging their own grave. That show is going to be gone within a year, 2 years tops. It's got to go, and I hope.
Yeah.
I just heard
Well,
today Donald Trump is starting to sue the media. He just put out a lawsuit today on the New York Times and all the thing. Like now he's coming after the media. I guarantee. We say this all the time. How do these women on the View sit there and spew so much lies and hatred, like blatant lies, and not get sued for defamation? When I heard that he opened a lawsuit on the New York Times and Washington Post or whatever today, I was like, "Oh, the View's coming. He's going to get them. It's coming. Their time's coming. They're going to go."
yeah. Well, they've been talking about that because he's been going to
Yeah,
do
he's
that for a
doing it.
while
It when
now, and
they filed it today. It's filed. He's starting.
right, but they were claiming that he's going to go after all of his enemies, and the press is one of them. But it's kind of like you're not. He's not going after his enemies. He's going after the people that has
It's
legitimately
defamation too.
done him wrong.
It's not enemies. Like he could care less
What's
about them.
that?
But if they did this to him and if they don't get stopped, they're going to keep doing it to every single Republican candidate, and like they're just going to keep fear mongering the fuck out of their followers. They keep spewing lies.
Brandy
I'm
the
sorry, the
language.
fudge. I'm sorry. That's just how I talk.
But but the thing is he's not going after his enemies. He's going after the people that broke the law to use the law against him and actually made up things to try to stop
And they're
him
going to
from
call it
being
petty.
president. This whole campaign,
I mean,
it is
that's what
petty,
you
but
have to
so
be at this
what?
point.
It's justice. It's not just petty. It's justice.
That's
You
what I
can call
mean.
it
They're
what you
going
want,
to call him
but
everything
you
under the
got
sun, which they do anything, anyways. But at this point, he's in revenge mode with his cabinet, with his
thanks,
cabinet
Jeff.
picks and everything else. Like he's like, I got 4 years. I'm not stepping out of here without one person that has done me wrong, not touched, because what they're doing is against. It's bad for America. It's not just revenge because they did me dirty. Everything they're doing is bad for America. So he's going to make sure that they know that if you do this, you will pay for it. He didn't do it in his first term because he was trying to be a good patriot. This time he was like, fuck it, they're out of here. I love it. I'm here for it. Oh,
Language.
I can't help it. I'm going to get a
But the
zapper to
thing is,
where if
well,
I say
Brandy, you got to
something, you
watch
can
it.
push a button and zap me over here.
Yeah, because this is on
I'm
both
sorry.
channels tonight. This
I say
ain't on
that word
Jimmy
so much, I
Pockets.
don't even realize I say it. That's bad, huh?
But you know that those are subjects that we can talk about after he is in the Oval Office. Whether they like it or not, he's got to do
Due
his
diligence at this point.
justice has to be served. Justice has to be served, so they know never to ever to try
You
to do
remember
this
what they tried to
again.
do to Matt Gaetz?
Because if they ever,
You don't remember
no,
what they tried to do to Matt Gaetz? This is why Matt Gaetz got the position he got.
well, no, I know.
They tried to
Yeah,
run that.
the child
They
trafficking thing,
literally tried
and
to
then
run that man because he
they
supported
somebody
Trump.
tried to blackmail his dad or something.
But you know, when
Yeah,
he gets in there, he
that's
gets
old
to release
news.
all of that. He gets to investigate and see the actual the ongoings of what was going on with him, and he can release how false it was and how fake it was, and who was involved in it. That scares the crap out of them. That's why they don't want him there.
Well, yeah. Well, Matt Gaetz is kind of like one of those people they can't control, which is what they worry about with Donald Trump. Is they're afraid they can't control him.
Because when she was like, "So you think all the women that get abortions are fat and ugly?" He was like, "Yep." And how does that offend you? He was like, "Let them be offended." I was like, "That's me."
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, but it is.
Right. Yeah, he was going with a stereotypical type. It's like a lot of these left-wing breakdowns that's been happening where they've been crying on screen and screaming and shit. It's about them. You ever know the stereotypical one is they either got some funny looking glasses, and mine are not funny looking, by the way. They're regular glasses. Or they got the nose piercing. That's the next thing. It's not all of them, but it's like
I always just had a little dot. I never put a ring in my nose.
No, I'm talking about pierced right through the what is that? The septum.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Septum piercing.
Not pierced on the side or nothing. Yeah, different color hair. And it's just like I said, it's a stereotype.
What do you think about the women that think that
but it's
their
funny
head
to
and
watch.
not doing makeup and gaining weight is supposed to be like a protest to all of They was like, dang, thanks, take the trash out for us. Nobody wants to sleep with you anyway. So the women who want to fight for abortion are abstaining from sex. Thank you. That means you won't need a freaking abortion. We win again. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, the thing is, are they saying they were hoes before this?
They were proud hoes,
election?
And you weren't allowed to discriminate because that was discriminating against hoes. That's what they fight for. And then these people like coming out like, my daughters have less rights. For one, no, they don't. Nothing's changed. But my daughters. So all these women coming out talking about my daughters. So your daughters were going to go out and be hoes, and now they can't. Oh, you poor thing. You're raising whores around here? Like, that's what you guys are fighting for? You want even though nothing's changed, the daughters can still go do the things.
That is what they're fighting for.
But Okay, the
Yeah. We're getting way off
that's what
topic
they
here.
that was trending. It was a trending thing. Mothers who were mad that their daughters couldn't go do
Well,
certain things because they thought they were going to lose the right to get a certain thing. And I was like, are there that many people in this country raising their daughters like that? That's kind of strange to me. Like that's a moral thing. That's not like a political thing. Do better. Do better.
well, yeah. No, for whatever reason, they have their little freakouts. The whole moral of the story we were talking about is how the mainstream media, how they twist things, and they say, it's one of those things where if you say something enough, if you say a lie enough times, eventually it's
True.
considered to be the truth. And that's exactly what they've been doing over the last several
Absolutely.
years with Donald Trump. Lie after lie after
And
lie
when you're
after
people like
lie
us
after
who know that
lie.
they're lying, how aggravating is
Jeff,
that to
thank
hear
you,
that
sir.
lie?
You don't have to do
Like
that.
we hear the
Thank you.
lies and we know it's lies, and it's so aggravating that people still latch on to it. Like, oh, this must be true, and you can't get through to them. So aggravating. Like, who is still believing this?
Right.
That's
Well,
but
they are still
how? I don't
believing it.
understand
So,
how.
you know,
Like, do they look nowhere else?
well,
Like,
I think they're going to
everybody has
study
a
that.
smartphone in their hand, and you can see all of the internet all over the world. They have to be only looking at these few minimal places and never looking outside of those spots and all of the internet to still believe that. Like their whole existence is these like
Well,
dream
yeah,
works in a show.
that's that's where the culture has to change a little
I
bit.
agree.
And you before, and I said this. You've probably seen my Facebook post. Uh, there, they always when they lose, they say, "Don't forget to work with us now." You guys claim that you want to. If we
Now
don't
they want
work
to be
with you now,
bipartisan.
you guys are in charge now. You want
Yeah,
to, work with us, and I'm saying no. Uh,
absolutely.
you never, ever, ever, ever will work with them. It'll do no good. There's no great
The only time they want
outcome
to
in
be
that.
bipartisan is when they are the fucking dog, or when they're the
That's
freaking
cool,
dog
Jeff.
down. Like when they are down in the dirt and they can't do anything, they all of a sudden want to be bipartisan. As soon as they get minority, they will never want to be bipartisan. So now we have to play by those same rules.
No, we don't. That's my whole point. Is the fact that I posted to we don't need your help. We don't want your help. You just need to shut up, stay out of the way, and let the adults that are coming into power do their job. And you'll thank us later when your life improves, but then again, you may not. But, you know, pretty much I said, go F yourself. Yeah, Darcy, me too. I don't know what happened to, hang on.
Can you hear me at all? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm
Yeah, but you're still showing on the,
here. Let me do this.
I don't know what the deal is.
Well,
All right.
my
It killed, I had some videos set up. Whatever just happened, I just lost my videos that I
are
were
you
going to play.
serious? Because I was like, hold on, give me a second. My guys were on the highway on their way in.
Yeah, whatever you did, it
I
because
just turned my
I can
camera
only
off for
share
a
so
minute.
much stuff at one time. It's still
I
showing to
mean, so
be
you could
there.
see me
So
talking to him?
I can, yeah. Now
No.
your
Oh,
screen's
yeah,
a
that
full
is a full.
screen.
That's weird. No, a second ago, was my screen still on? Or did I go black?
The old,
Okay, because
it went
Philip
black,
and them were calling me,
but
and
it's
they
still
had a
showing
flat
being.
tire on the highway earlier. I was making sure they got back on the road. I had to answer it.
It doesn't matter. It's still. I had the video set up. I'm gonna still try
I'm
to
gonna
do
mute
it.
my mic. You're just gonna see my background for a minute. I just have to run some money out the door for like 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I wanted to play a
You're good.
video
I can
for
still hear.
everybody. I have a Saturday Night Live when they realized that Trump won. So let me try playing this, guys. Actually, it's YouTube. That's if it'll let me do it. It's not gonna let me do it. Well, that's a bummer. All right. Sorry, guys. I was wanting to play that video, but whatever happened when she got kicked off earlier and came back, it's got all my stuff locked up, so I can't show no videos. So apparently, there's a glitch in this kind of programming I got going on here. Actually, what I was going to play was the little skit they did where they were uh, doing a fake out where President Trump, we were behind you the whole time. We was never against you. We were just doing comedy skits. So I found that to be crazy.
It was funny
Jeff,
for once.
Jeff, that is a yes. They are. But some of them feel like they're not going to be going anywhere. And how they're that confident, I don't know.
There was an article in our newspaper today trying to say from this random writer in our News and Sun, trying to say why they're not going anywhere. And I just seen it right before I come on here. That's why people are thinking that.
What is it they are? I'm not getting it. What you saying?
There's an article in our News and Sun newspaper today that's labeled basically something along the lines, since Trump won, is our Haitian community going to be deported, basically. And it goes through this little spew about how they're not, because they're on temporary protective status and all the things, and it's
true.
It's a bunch of crap.
But that is kind of true. I think the Trump administration is actually looking into what they can do about that, because if I'm not mistaken, President Biden did that through executive order and not through Congress.
He did.
So I think if that's the case, but he did sign an order that extended it for another year or 2 years, I think. 18 months. I think it was 18 months. Above and beyond. What is it?
It goes to 2026.
Right. But I mean,
after that,
18 months. I think it's 18 months, which will be 2026.
No, it shows the date in the article, so it is. But they're going to do a mass deportation of the criminals first. So
right.
That'll take till 2026.
Well, the thing is, here in town, as you well know, that I reported on it, is the criminals are never held accountable here as criminals, because every time they go to court for something, even though they've been to court for something before, they're showing no previous violations. And I showed that in one of my first original videos of the things going on in this town in Springfield, Ohio, about them getting into multiple car accidents and traffic violations, and never ever having prior violations show up on a record when they go to court again. So there's a few in this town that should have or should be uh, deported already, and they're not doing it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll change. Uh, hopefully, I signed a petition a couple weeks ago to recall Mayor Rue to get him out of office. So
Hey, there's a petition. Is that what you just said? A petition going around to get rid of them?
I signed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that on Facebook the other day, where it's like
Yeah.
to get rid of the whole commission, every single one of them on that board, the commissioners, the city manager, the mayor, everybody, all in one petition.
Well, this one was about Mayor Rue only.
I seen a petition for all of them. Like, but even if not in 2 years, those other seats are up. They gotta go. They have to go. This is my thing. People love to get all excited about a presidential election, and there's people don't even realize. A lot of people don't even know that every 2 years there's another election that goes on in between these, so they don't show up for them. So when they're like, "Oh, and if Trump wins, what are you guys going to do after that?" We're going to fight for the next 2 years for this next election and make sure people get out in droves, just like we did for the electoral, like the presidential thing. We need to teach these people that this election don't happen every 4 years. There's an election that happens every 2 years.
Well,
and that's where your local people come in play.
Well, they kind of know that to a point.
A lot of people have no clue that that's how it works.
Well,
younger people, much younger people have no clue that's how it works.
Most Republicans know how it works. They just don't think about.
Younger people have no idea. We have to keep being loud. We have to do exactly what we've been doing so they don't forget in 2 years, hey, there's another thing you have to vote for. They just don't vote in it.
But most Republicans do know about the midterms. It's just that they don't think it is as important. That's the problem.
We have to scream just as loud and like it's important. Like, learn your local officials, learn everything about your local people, and in 2 years from now, we have to be online, on videos, on lives, on whatever platform, screaming like, go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. This don't stop and then start up 4 years from now. We have to now continue to figure out who we want to replace the people that aren't working 2 years from now.
Right. Well,
that's our next fight.
Yeah, but we got to take one battle at a time right now.
Well, we need to take a break for one and just enjoy.
There's enjoy this. You cannot take a break.
No, we need to not take a break, but like we have to take pride in what we've done. Like, we've done some things. Like, this is a historical election to nobody. Like, this way past the time that we're going. This election will be in history books.
Well,
so we have to be able to enjoy the fact that we did what we did, but you never stop working. You never stop working because in 2 years from now, a very important election is coming up. He needs to keep control to do what he needs to do in 4 years. So we can't let that go. We have to make sure people know about it constantly.
Well, we have to get through January 1st. We have to get
that scares me more than anything. You know that?
That's my whole point. I've been doing.
I feel like I said, when I feel like we're in the quiet before the storm. Look at the reaction in 2016, even in 2020 when they won. They were so like, and right now it's like, oh well, the American people spoke. We need to go with the American people. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. I feel like they're doing something behind the scenes and they're just trying to play nice in public.
They are doing something behind the scenes.
I'm waiting on the dam to break open and everything to poof. Like they're not that okay with it. There's no way there's just no way.
You haven't seen my last live stream then.
I did obviously. Not. That's what I mean. I really been like taking some stuff out of my house, bringing Christmas decorations in. My husband's been in Michigan for 5 days. He's still there, so it's just me here and the kids. Like, I really haven't been up to date on the YouTube stuff.
Anyways, it's about how FEMA's been nefariously used to deal with, and we'll call it a martial law scenario. Uh,
Absolutely.
Come January 6th or around about that time, I think they'll probably, because all of a sudden, 2 weeks before the election, they hit hard on this. Trump is Hitler. All of his supporters are Nazis. And
Did you
so,
see the
now,
response to like the thing in the White House where him and Biden spoke? The whole left's response is, "Oh my God, why did Biden is Biden being so nice?" And then you get half one reaction or the other from the left. But he called him Hitler and against democracy forever. He should have and not been a. And then you get this, but it's America and it's a peaceful transfer of power, and you do this. They can't make up their freaking minds. They cannot make up their minds. I
well,
think Biden. I think Biden voted for Trump. I'm going to keep saying it. I think Jill voted for Trump. I think Biden voted for Trump. I will keep saying it.
well, that's the thing. The messaging is this is why the crazies on the left are confused because they drank the Kool-Aid and believed everything they said
But we're
about
a cult.
right that we're all Nazis and Trump is the next coming of Hitler and all this other stuff. And this goes to the atmosphere and the policies that FEMA has put in place about not helping Trump supporters,
Yeah,
and
that's
about how the military is
yeah.
had
I'm pretty sure she's fired.
she is fired.
Yeah, she's fired.
Yeah, but she claims she had reports of all these instances where Trump supporters have treated them bad and made them feel unsafe, but she can't produce the reports because she claimed
Well, that's what they do. They make false reports on paper and then do dirty stuff behind the scenes. That's what they do.
that she could get into her website, her job thing in the computer, and as she was talking to somebody about the reports, somebody somewhere in the system was deleting them at the time she was talking about them, so she couldn't produce none of the reports.
Sounds like a Hillary Clinton, like, oh, my emails are deleted.
Yeah, something like
They
that.
absolutely were not. Did they catch them with hammers or the bleaching of the hard drives? Because it sounds real
There's
familiar.
yeah, it's all it's all BS.
That's why
She
they don't want people like Elon Musk and them in there, because they're going to, every person that he's appointed is going to dig, and they get all that. They get to go back and look at everything that's happened, and they get to bring it all to the forefront, and all their little dirty secrets are going to come out.
a lot of this stuff is going to be deleted, Brandy. You'll never.
Oh, that's what I mean. They are bleaching and hammering like a mofo right now. Like that's
Yeah, a lot of this stuff will never be brought to the light of
you
day.
ever see on movies where it's like a business, like what do they call them, a scam or a fraud? There's a business that it's not a real business, but they were doing some things. I can't even think of what it's called. But then they come in the office like, oh my God, everybody like shred every piece of paper now and da 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 da, like on movies.
Right.
Because the feds are, yeah, that's what they're doing. That's the mode they're in right now. They're like, delete, shred, get rid of everything because they know what's coming in.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they've got plenty of time.
Panic mode.
They have plenty of time to do it. So,
and that sucks because they do have the time to do it. I never understood. I mean, I know there has to be a time period where he picks his cabinet members and da 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 da. But I don't understand why we vote for a president, he gets elected in, and then you have to wait some odd days, like 2 months later, before he takes power. Why is that a thing?
Before he does
that
what?
Gives your opponent all the many days to clean up their mess before you get in there and see what happened. Why is that a thing?
I don't get what you mean.
Like that.
But you
okay, he's president elect. He's the president,
right.
The next president. Why do they need 60, 70 some odd days before he takes effect of being president? Why can't it be within like a 2-week period?
Because the government running a country is a very complex thing.
I know that's what I mean. I know he has to pick cabinet members and all the things, But I'm saying there should at least be a transition period where the outgoing
That's what this. That's
place
what this
can
is. That's
get.
why they call it the transition team.
But there has to be something put in place where the outgoing people lose some kind of like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this. You can run the country. If something happens, yes, you have that, but they can't be able to just go in and cover up everything they've done dirty for 4 years and 70 something days or 60 something days, whatever. Like, there should be, I think, transitioning should mean, yes, you're president, yes, you're running the country. If we need to deal with other countries or certain things, you still have that power, but they should lose some powers during that transition where they couldn't go in and just hide all the corrupt stuff that they do. That's all I'm saying. That needs to be fixed.
But that's the thing, Brandy. It's a complex thing. That's what they do.
It's very
So,
complex. It's horrible.
so since President Trump elect became President Trump elect, he started getting the same security briefings daily as President Biden is. So, and then he passes this along to his people. That's going to be hopefully, because they don't even, he's nominating these people to be in his cabinet. Some he can already have in his cabinet with no problem. Others have to be approved through Congress. So, you know, it's a time uh, it's a timely process to where it takes time. The
That's what
U.S.
I mean.
government is a complex
I know
thing.
the incoming president needs the time to get his cabinet members together. It's a transition thing.
Right.
But and yes, Trump is now getting briefed, just like the president, but that's as of now. So he's not getting anything previous. He's just getting from now on. I'm just saying that I feel like the previous administration should have some kind of blockage to where it's like, all right, a new president's coming in, you're going out. Anything before this date, you guys cannot mess with. Whatever happened, happened. That is on record. You can't touch it. From the date that the new president is elected until the transition, you guys can't get rid of things. You can't delete. Like, they have to keep it all in record.
Well, they're supposed to anyway. That's not nothing new.
But
It's
they
just
don't. That's what I mean. They don't.
right, because this current administration breaks the law. That's the point. You
So
can't
we need
stop
to
them.
break it down and start all over again from scratch.
Well, yeah, but he's got to get in office first.
It just sucks that they have that ability, is what I'm saying. That's what bothers me, is they have the ability to go back and try and cover their tracks, and they shouldn't have that ability. Them
Well,
term limits Trump was talking about, probably one of the best things that ever come out of that man's mouth.
Well, that's not going to happen till it happens, because he's got to. Everybody has to agree on it, and it's got to go through Congress to do it. So,
and if he has it needs to go right. He has complete control over everything. It needs to go, because that's one of the worst things. Like, there are people that serve in our house and stuff.
The U.S. president cannot have.
Alive.
They cannot have complete control over everything. There's got to be checks and balances. So
no, I'm saying he has majority over everything. Where if you need to get something done, do it. They've done it. How many times have they had Democratic control over everything?
But that's where draining the swamp comes in. You have to get rid of.
You get all the people out there that just play by who pays you and tells you what. You get honest people in there that don't care. If they think it's wrong, they're going to tell you about it. And then once you get those people in there, then you start making those kind of decisions where, honest people are voting. Like, it's a process. It's a long process. It takes longer than 4 years. It's going to take way longer than 4 years to fix their mess. This whole mess. But I feel like the term limit thing needs to happen eventually. It has to happen eventually.
Well, not eventually. It needs to happen right away.
Well, but I just said that a minute ago.
Right, but they have to. Brandy, they have to. I get
what you're saying.
They got to vote on it. So whoever votes against it is the people that they have to get rid of, because they'd be.
Okay. You said it in a better way than I said it. I went in a long journey that we didn't need to go on, but yes, you're right. We do that and you throw it in there, and if people vote against it, I'm like, okay, yes, those are the people we need to get rid of.
Right.
That's what I was getting to in a long about way. You just said it much faster. I have ADHD brain, sometimes it takes somebody like you to say it in that simple sentence, and then it clicks on my brain like, duh, that's what it is.
Well, they have to balance about what they can get done in the first 2
Sorry,
years.
chat. My dad says it quicker. My brain goes on a tangent.
Anyways, so they have to pick and choose what they're going to do first. So,
absolutely,
and then because we got to get to where the American public, if for one, will be interested in the midterms, and two, will vote in and keep in power if the Republicans do a good job their first 2 years. And see, in the past, that's why it's always been like a historical thing to where even when a president gets the House and the Senate, in the past, you typically lose it after the first 2 years because they don't get nothing done as far as promises
absolutely.
made, promises kept. Well, hopefully that'll change because
You see the chat?
he had so many never Trumpers in against him when he was in office the first time. Pretty much those that are still there probably have learned their lesson, hopefully. So
Hopefully.
they got to get done these things that will get them reelected, and hopefully more elections will go towards the Republicans to keep the House and the Senate so they can vote in term limits and stuff like that. So it is a complicated thing.
It is.
But
There's
we
no
got to
easy way about this. It's going to be a fight, and it's going to have to be done by the right person. And thank God we voted the right person in who I think can handle it.
right. Well, he's got to get in office first. He ain't there yet.
Oh, here comes pessimistic Jimmy.
No,
I'm just joking. I like
the videos I just made on FEMA and the military, what they're doing.
I understand it's a real thing, but I like to mess with you.
It's factual. It's not just me having a feeling about it. It's
a
real deal.
It was a joke.
I mean, Brandy, they did a classified operation this summer for this very scenario.
Things I'm gonna lose my mind, so I just joked.
30,000 of them did this practice. 30,000.
I get it.
It's real. Now, saying that, they never expected him to win, and if he did, they never expected him to win the popular vote too.
Oh, so, when we won that popular vote and then took back the House, and literally if you look at no state was blue. It was all red states. When you look at the blue counties, every single county that was blue was a no ID state or a county. No ID county are the only ones that turned blue. And then they're like, well, why do you guys care if you have to show ID to vote? Because of that right there. That shows you something.
Yeah, it's an asinine argument. They know when they say
it, but they don't want to admit it because it doesn't favor what they care about. They don't care.
But they believe the people who follow them are just stupid. And in a way they are. Because
I feel like they've been taught to be so hatred against him that even if they know these people are wrong, they're like, I don't care. Yes, let's spread that. Let's make people believe that because they have so much hatred for him in their demented brains that they're like, they even know things are false, but they're like, yes, if we make them believe that, they'll come with us because they just hate him so much.
The hatred came from them in the first place.
Yes.
Because he was very well liked before he come down that escalator in 2016.
A lot of them rappers were coming back around and putting him back in videos, and I'm like, oh no. I was like, oh snap, the rappers were coming back around.
Yeah, but the thing is like I said, you tell a lie enough, especially when you're in front of a TV camera and you're telling the whole country and the world basically Trump is a Nazi. His followers are deplorables, trash, garbage, Hitler followers, transphobic, anything you can think of. And they're constantly told this every day, every night, every show.
Sorry. My husband called in, who's been in Michigan, and he just told me he's going to be home in an hour and a half. He's not even supposed to be on his way home, so.
All right.
He froze. Crap over.
Okay. So, anyways, oh man, back to what I was saying. Since they don't have the element of surprise anymore, the scenario is looking even less and less that it's going to happen. But we can't take our foot off the gas. We got to expect this might happen, and if we got to be prepared. Got to be prepared. You can't wake up one day and be surprised somebody's pounding on your door trying to confiscate your guns. And if you don't want to give your guns up, they're going to detain you because you are part of the problem. They're in fear of you being part of an uprising because they're trying to keep President Trump out of office. So, yeah, David, I think she must have had a little bit too much uh, spirits before she got on here. Sorry about that. Sometimes I like other people to come in because maybe I'm not explaining something as best as it can be explained, or even me. I tend to ramble myself and get off topic, and I try to bring it back to the core part of the conversation that we're actually trying to have. I was just saying earlier before uh, the live stream started, I've been getting comments that I don't get to the point fast enough. So I was trying to uh, do better at that tonight, and it don't seem like I don't think it worked. Hey, Charlotte. Guys, I'm sorry I haven't been paying much attention to the chat. I've been talking to her. Um, but it's good to see you guys in here tonight. I see a few of it dropped off. It's not in here anymore. Sorry about that. Yeah, Stephanie, she is passionate. But she kind of, the thing is she hasn't watched my last live that I did, and probably my last two videos before that. Um, so she kind of I was trying to get her caught up on the information that I was trying to put out there that she didn't know about, and she wasn't grasping what I was trying to tell her. Just Jimmy Stream. Okay, I'll try to keep that limited to that for sure. But I do like to have a conversation. That's why I was on that other channel doing the live stream on Wednesdays, but that didn't work out. So, and that kind of disappointed me too because I wanted that to work out. Yeah, Francis, some experiments do fail. Though you gotta try to do things. You're not always going to succeed. That's where it comes into having, uh, you know, some other input in here. And I offer this invitation to any of you guys. I can send you a link if you ever want to come in on camera and have an actual conversation instead of chat. I can't get anything to your two asshole friends. What do you mean, Dave? They're not getting information you're trying to send them? I mean, I probably can help you with that. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Coop. and that's we have two different styles of communicating. Um, she's pretty fast talking, and I'm not. And I try to jump in there when I can. But tonight, when I actually start saying something, it's like she couldn't hear what I was saying and just kept talking. So that could be the mic issue between the two of us. And she didn't hear me fast enough before she starts talking again. I don't know. But we'll work on that. Oh, Dave, I remember you talking about that, getting a telegram. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him since they decided that our partnership wasn't going to work out. So I haven't spoke to him since then. Got nothing against him or anything. I just haven't talked to him because, things just didn't work out. But I am working on some stuff. Uh, Something happened to where I couldn't link in the videos tonight. Whatever was going on with her trying to come into the uh, live stream kind of screwed my video links up that I had set up to show. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm still working with this new program. It's still, I'm not a computer savvy guy, so and really there's no way to practice with this unless you're actually doing it. So that means I do it live in front of you guys to make those kind of mistakes. So that happens. Yeah, Dave. Have they been responding to your emails though, to keep you up to date? Because I know Derek said something about he had Telegram, but he hadn't used it in a while, and um, he was going to do something about that so he could get that stuff from you. And I personally don't even know what Telegram is. As far as I know what old school Telegram are, I don't know what this new stuff is. But so if they're not responding to you at all, I don't know. I got a text. I have a way to text them to find out about that stuff for you. What happened as far as what, Stephanie? No response at all. Okay. Well, I'll send them a text for you, and I I don't know if you will be on my next live or anything. I will try to. Uh, if you want to send me a way to get a hold of you, for me to update you if you want, you can. My email is in the bio. It's Jimmy Pockets 1965 um, at outlook.com. Yeah, Gary, I seen that where the Democrats did admit to illegal ballot counting in Pennsylvania. Honestly, I think when history is finally written on this story, it's all going to be about the last election and the differences and what they did to change the rules. And the only thing that they tried to change this time around is they really tried to harp on that not needing an ID, because if you need an ID, you're racist. You're asking, that's just wrong for you asking for somebody's ID. All right, David, I appreciate that. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Stephanie, I don't know if you know it. I haven't been on the last two live shows they did. Yeah, Coop. I think Carrie Lake was robbed. Uh, And I don't get it because every interview I've ever seen Carrie Lake do, I mean, she's got a strong presence. Her convictions are hardcore. I don't get why they say she's not a strong candidate in Arizona. Are they that far leaning left in Arizona that her message is not coming across right? Or I don't get that, because I think Carrie Lake is a good person and would be a good senator. So, you have that. Yeah, Francis, most red states do require ID. Uh, when I voted, I had to show my ID. Yeah, somebody made, because I've been paying attention too much on this, trying to get this story about FEMA out. Um, and I remember seeing the thing at the same time where like a place in Wisconsin and in Arizona, there was that same old, at 4 something in the morning, there was a huge ballot dump, and it switched. It put the Democrat on top where the Republican was on top before that. And then at 4 something in the morning, they had a ballot dump and it switched. And I seen where they said that happened in two locations, one in Arizona and one in Wisconsin. I'll look into that Telegram thing here, Dave. Something I could find out online, right? How to use it or how to sign up for it or whatever you got to do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Typically, that's what don't make sense is how the candidate would have to be very bad for somebody to vote, like say, vote for President Trump, then not vote for the Republican senator or congressperson. Uh, it makes no sense. But Coop, they in the last election, Arizona was like a hot spot for corruption with they wouldn't allow the recounts. I think they was doing some shady shenanigans. They were really trying to like keep people from doing certain things to find out the truth as far as hiding ballots or not caring about the signature part of it. And and I get we had a unique circumstance with the COVID and everything on the last election. But saying that, it should rules cannot be just set aside and said, oh, you know, we're not going to worry about none of that this time because of COVID. COVID should have nothing to do with it. You should always verify signature. You shouldn't allow any ballots to be counted if they get there after election day. Those just should go straight in the trash. How this went from being election day to election week is beyond me. When I was younger, I've never seen them take this long to find out stuff when it comes to counting votes. Especially with they're supposedly have all these fancy machines that's supposed to do all this for you. So it's kind of an odd deal. I don't get it. What we checking out, Stephanie? Yeah, I got there's a guy I know, a YouTuber that I communicate with from time to time, a car guy, and he loves Arizona, but he's a young kid. You know, he's not really political. What are we effing that, Dave? Did I miss something? Yeah, that is an unusual thing. How so many votes during the COVID voting in 2020. Uh, you know, having that deal to where, uh, but they're claim. Let me start over with that. They're claiming that is because it was people who normally don't vote voted because they were in the House. They had all these mail-in ballots sent to them, and of course, you know the Democrats had a hell of a ground game. They just went around and collected them for them. They didn't even have to mail them in. So it's at least that's their reasoning for it. I don't I call BS on that. It could be true, but that just tells you that if that many people that voted for Biden during the COVID time and none of them came out to vote for Kamala, uh, that just tells you that how lazy they are. That unless it's mailed to them and they fill it out and they don't even have the energy to mail it back in, somebody comes to their door and picks it up for them. I mean, those people usually don't vote anyway. I have a thing about not everybody needs to vote. Just people who are informed on stuff, but it's kind of hard to determine that. So there's like a fine line between being, you know, kind of aggressive on that, saying you ain't allowed to vote because you don't know what you're talking about. You know, who am I to say who does or who doesn't? Uh, Honestly, I think there should be some kind of a test when you go to register to vote. There should be some kind of test, just like a driver's test. You know, you can't get behind the wheel of the vehicle unless you take a test that supposedly makes you competent enough to drive a vehicle that could potentially kill somebody if you don't do it right. Well, voting is a very serious thing. Not, I mean, it could have repercussions about, if you get the wrong person in office, they could send people off to war and they could cause, death that way. So basically it is just as serious. So saying that, I believe there should be some kind of a test before when you go to register to vote, you have to pass the test. And then if you don't pass it, then if you really want to register to vote, you get a book. It's called the Constitution, or you could get or something that will educate you on the three branches of government and what each one of them, what their task is. And then if that way you can go back, and if you really want to register to vote, you educate yourself to the point that you're capable of passing that test, and then you get the vote. And then it's kind of like you ain't really got to do it like driver's license every few years. You got to do it again or get your driver's license renewed. Uh, once you register, you register. And I think somebody help me out here. Answer this question for me. I don't know because I've always voted. But if you don't vote for a long period of time, let's say you register in 1992 and you voted, in that election, and you don't vote again, and maybe you decide to vote uh, Trump in and not Kamala. Are you still registered to vote? Is that still good? I don't know. Yeah, Dice, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things you can't do without it. It is insulting, in my opinion, to say that it impacts minorities because of asking for an ID. And I've literally seen them man on the street interviews where they go to these real super liberal colleges and they talk about how, how all this is racist because uh, maybe they don't know where the BMV is or they don't know how to work a computer. Or not all of them have cell phones because they can't afford it. All kinds of really bad racist stuff. And this is all coming from liberal white colleges up east and the northeast part of the country. So that tells you that they're brainwashed. They're believing whatever they're told. They're believing that these minorities are not capable of doing these things. So if you want a requirement for an ID, you're now racist. But you know, it is what it is. Hopefully that'll change. I'm all for making election day a holiday. I mean, they make some, even if they have to, let's say, and I mean this with pay too. So even if they have to figure out some way of having to remove some kind of other holiday if they feel like it ain't, they don't want to put a burden on an employer to have to pay all these employees across the country a day off to go vote. I think there either should be some kind of way to fix that to where the employer is not impacted as badly as they could be. But they should make it a holiday. And it should be election day, not election week. And I think mail-in ballots should only be for those who cannot make it to the polling area, and it's, they have the absentee ballots. When you're in the military, you're overseas or you're across country at another base or something, you can do the absentee ballot. And, that's a stringent uh, line of custody that they do to get that from that person to the voting polls. Uh, and they can do that for people who are like handicapped, that it's a hardship to get out to go do. They do that, but this mass mail-in voting got to go, because if I'm handicapped and I can still hobble my butt in there and stand in line and then go do my uh, due diligence for being a U.S. citizen and vote. So that's one of the things I hope they fix when this time around, when Trump gets in office. I say when because I've been saying if, uh, because one way or another, we're going to get him in there. Whether they want to do it the right way or if there's going to be some kind of a conflict, President Trump will take office, and it's going to take all of us to do that, I think, in one way or another. And then we got to make sure that the midterms, we got that handled too. But that's a conversation for another day. The midterms is too far out to worry about it today. Um, but to go back to what I said at the beginning of this live stream, uh, because of all the attention that has been brought to that situation with FEMA, the 350 semi-trailers that was going to be parked at that closed down Air Force base in Oscoda, Michigan. They scrapped that deal. They're no longer going to do that. Hey, Wisconsin. but that's good, Dice, and but you understand what I mean. Some people don't. Uh, some people are actually bedridden. My mom, she was a good candidate for the absentee ballot, um, but if you're capable of doing it, do it. But I think it needs to be the holiday. I think you got to take away the excuses, and and let's be honest, y'all know as well as I do, the left, those who normally don't vote unless it's super easy, like the mail-ins, and then somebody comes by and even collects that from them. If they got the day off to go vote, do you think they're going to take that day off with pay and go vote? No, they're not. So it literally will not improve the Democrats' chances of having election day voter turnout be in their favor. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think most of us in here could probably believe that same thing too. Francis, since 1972. Well, that is very impressive. That's the last year of a real car was being made in Detroit. Last year of the hot rods that I say. I mean, there's been a couple since then, but uh, 1972 was the change of an era, because then you went in, it had all that emissions. Everybody had to have Cadillac converters and stuff on their cars and all the emissions control. So cars kind of lost their soul, was the way I see it. They lost the engine power and all that was so well known for this our country back in the day. I'm a car guy, so I have to take that back to a car scenario there. uh, I think Dice. I think that was a horrible thing for them to do. I mean, it made absolutely no sense for them to do that. I mean, it's a squirrel. I mean, come on. And honestly, I think the owners that had that squirrel has a case. I mean, that squirrel had its own. I can't remember what it is. I want to say Facebook. It could have been YouTube or something like that. Anyway, they were making an income with this squirrel. It wasn't just a pet. It was an actual. And that'd be like losing an animal at the circus. You no longer have that act as part of the circus that you can do. So now you got a gap in your income. So Monte Carlo, I've had a few Monte Carlos. I was 18 first time I voted too, Francis. I've always, I started getting into politics when I was in junior high school, and we're a little bit different in age. That's when Carter got in office, and I wasn't old enough to vote the first time Reagan got voted in, but I was old enough to vote the second time he got voted in. Yeah, back to the squirrel thing. I seen them talking about the owners. They seriously was upset about this, uh, and not the money thing either. They literally loved that pet, and what they did, it's like there was no reason for it. There was no reason to do that. I mean, they claim it was policy, But damn, do you have to do everything because there's a policy? Shouldn't there be in a way to say, here's what the policy says. Now let's have a convene a if somebody wants to appeal that before they go through with the policy, there's some kind of a way to put the brakes on something instead of just going through with it and then be damned the consequences later. Their whole thing is, I'm just doing my job. Same thing with that woman in FEMA, not taking care of certain houses, just doing her job. Well, same thing with some of the border patrol people. What you want me to do? I'm just doing my job. That's what they tell me I got to do. This I'm just doing my job. When people say that, well, I'm just doing my job, and knowing that what they're doing is wrong, and then they use that as their backup, as yes, the raccoon too. Now they, when I seen the interview with the owners, the raccoon obviously was a pet too, but they were really upset about the squirrel. And but I mean, it was their animal rescue people. You think you would give them a little leeway instead of just following policy? It's just the way it is. Following policy. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. And I hope that they are able to, and I say compensation for their loss, but you know, how do you compensate for something like your pet or a family member? That's how some people look at their pets, as a family member. I know I do. I look at my pet as a family member. I mean, something was to happen to my dog. As a matter of fact, we had a dog pass away a few weeks ago because we're dog lovers here. And it's some of the hardest things to do is to deal with that. I mean, they're like your kids. You know what I mean? As best as an animal can be, and I'm not saying it's equal, but to some people it is. And so I hope they get some kind of uh, restitution, some kind of settlement for that really shows the state of New York that you shouldn't always just do something because it's policy. You should have some way to allow them to go in and state their case before you follow through with something like that, instead of just doing it and then tell them after the fact. Yeah, Dice, that's what I'm saying. I mean, half a million followers over 3 platforms for that squirrel. That's crazy cool, though. But now that's what I'm saying. So now they have not only do they lose their pet, they're animal rescuers. So they love animals. So that was something that was dear to them. They now have I guess the part of the income from that squirrel being on social media like that, helped fund feed and stuff that they needed for the other animals. I think they said they had like 300 animals on their property that they rescued. And, that's not cheap. And now they don't have no way of, that's where the city of New York, I think it's the city or the state, they need compensated for that. And not just like 1 year's of income. They need compensated for multiple years, because that's just not right. And I feel for them, and I wish I had something I could do for them. I don't know if they have a GoFundMe page. If they did, I'll look into that. If they got something like that, I'll try to promote that on my videos to, go help them out that way. Because I say New York needs to compensate them for their loss, but that doesn't mean that they would absolutely automatically win if they tried. Yeah, Stephanie, that's what I'm saying. I'd hate to call it compensation because there really isn't a compensation, but you can't compensate for the losing of a pet, but you can pay them compensation for losing of the income that little animal created for them to help support, to take care of the other animals in their animal shelter. Yeah, Francis, see, that's sad when your animal is prematurely killed. Now, my animal died of old age. She went to sleep, and that was it. So that's the best way for an animal to go. Very comfortable life here with us. Uh, we rescued her. She's a Bow Mastiff. She was a massive dog. She weighed 200 pounds, 210 pounds exactly. She was a fighter. She was a fighting dog, and she got rescued. And there for a while, we didn't know if we could keep her because she was so untrustworthy with humans. And she had tons of scars on her from where she'd been in so many fights. But as the months went on and we didn't give up on her, she started feeling comfortable in her surroundings and started really feeling good, feeling comfortable, not, knowing that she didn't have to fight anymore. She wasn't being forced to do anything except to lay there and take some pets, petting her. That was something we couldn't do when we first got her as petter. So, it was a touch and go there in the beginning. It's like, is this dog too far gone? We didn't want to take a risk of getting bit by her, but she was afraid of humans. So she wasn't, it got to the point where we wasn't afraid we was going to get bit. We was afraid we could never have like a personal contact with her uh, to make her feel better about being around us. But eventually she came around. Uh, so she became a very, very lovable dog. Even though this thing was big and huge and scary looking, I mean, this puppy had a heart of gold. I think if she wasn't forced to fight other animals, she probably would never, because we had dogs besides her, which we had to keep them separated at first. And the other dogs couldn't even play with her because she'd snap at them because she's thinking they're wanting to fight because she's not used to that. But eventually, she got to playing in the backyard with the rest of them. I say the rest of them, we had two others, and so it was all good. You know, that's my story about my pets. Yeah, Kim. I had a house out in the country. I was raised in the city, so I used to buy and flip houses on the side to make money. And I bought this house out in the country. And instead of flipping it, we decided to live in it because we wanted our kids to experience country living. So, and we got a horse, and we had pigs and goats and chickens and dogs, and we did the whole 9 yards. That's a lot of work taking care of that many animals. But it was an experience, I'd have to say, was very well. Uh, when I say very well, I mean it was something that a city person like me really made me appreciate country boys and girls, uh, what they had to go through growing up compared to what I did growing up. So yeah, so I appreciated country living a lot more once I got out there and started doing it. We're trying to raise a family, trying to raise pets, trying to raise livestock basically because the pigs we had were for resale, and it was trying to make a way to make a living and pay for the feed and all that. You know how that is. But it was a good experience. And if I was younger, I'd do it. I'd go out in the country and have that type of atmosphere again. Uh, but I'm not capable of doing that. I mean, I'd love to live out in the country again, uh, but I don't think I'd have anything more than dogs. I might raise a cow or two, and probably just just for the meat, if I had the property. But I mean, I wouldn't want to do it to try to make a living doing it. This is too much work. How'd I get off on this tangent? Supposed to be. Well, I guess we talk about anything. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm doing this. I'm capable of doing this on both my channels at the same time right now. So I'm I'm gonna try to do that. Now I'm not gonna do that on my. Well, I still might do it. My next live is Tuesday night, Wednesday morning at 1 a.m. It's my night owls, my night owl version. 150 acres, man. You have pet squirrels too? That's cool. I know we got to, when I have a house out in Lawrenceville, uh, the squirrels would come right up, and we had like a table on a patio out back, and they would come right up and get stuff off the table and just look at us. We'd never like reach for them or nothing like that, but they were comfortable enough around us that they'd come right up on the patio and get right up on the table every now and then. Or just be on the railing next to it. They wouldn't run until the dogs come out or something. So squirrels are pretty cool. Now I've shot a few, but you have to get too many squirrels to make a real meal. They're way too small. But I did that when I was back when I was, oh Lord, probably 13, 12, 13 years old. Yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. Uh, I'm probably gonna look back on this as a video and probably figure out how to make this better experience. I'm still working on it. Still working on what I'm trying to get across. I'm trying to make a structured platform to have topics that I want to talk about. And today, I was just basically want to continue on with the FEMA contact information that I had. And obviously that's not enough to stay as a live stream for an hour or two, but it was a start. And then I wanted to talk about all the. I've been talking about the appointments that Trump's been doing, and I think since the last time, because I keep adding to the list, I have my little list here. So when I was the last live I was on, Matt Gaetz had just been announced as being a nominee. There, he wanted to do for Attorney General, which a lot of people don't like that idea. I like Matt Gaetz. I think he'd do a really good job because he's a bulldog. You know what I mean? And I think he would just clean house. You know what I mean? He ain't afraid to piss nobody off. I mean, when he went after McCarthy there at the, with the oh, shoot, speaker's position, although the person that they had replacing McCarthy, I really have mixed feelings about him. It seems like he don't get a whole lot done. It seems like he's too nice. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like McCarthy because I guess he was capable of raising a lot of money. Fundraising. That's what a lot of them are all about. Is that fundraising. So I think Matt Gaetz will get in there and just, you're going to do your job. We're going to investigate these things. I want to get to the bottom of everything. And he's going to have a list already. You know he is. And I hope that there's not a lot of bullcrap going on when they try to get all these people appointed, when they go through their little questioning deal where they have to be approved. But seeing how we have control over the House and the Senate, that shouldn't be no problem. Shouldn't be no problem. What do you guys think? But and I think now, a lot of people have a problem with this. I don't get why they have a problem with this one. It seems like they have a problem, I guess, with every one of Trump's things. But Tulsi Gabbard. Now, I honestly thought she was going to have a different role in all of this, because she's all about foreign policy and keeping us out of wars and stuff like that. Yeah, JD, gotcha. But back what I was saying, to make her director of national intelligence, a lot of people didn't see that because they felt like that wasn't her background. And I don't think it was. I think her background was some kind of medical field, if I'm not mistaken. But she is military. And not that that's a requirement to be for every position of certain types of things. But I think if you think about it, Director of National Intelligence, it's those kind of departments that actually work to keep the president informed and to let our foreign adversaries know what they can and cannot get away with, because we know certain things, and that will keep us out of wars. Because if they know we know already, it's kind of what I was saying about this whole military and FEMA and all that. You take away the element of surprise, and it kind of takes the wind out of themselves, and they're not going to go through with what their original plan is, because they need the element of surprise for it to work. So anyway, so Tulsi Gabbard, I'm happy with whatever role that President Trump wanted to put her in. I just know she needed to be in there somewhere because she's a true patriot. Yeah, Dice, and I wonder about it. Why would Hillary do that? I think Hillary did that because the whole Russian thing for Trump was working so well for her. She just figured all she had to do was mention Tulsi about being a Russian plant with no proof whatsoever. And I think she even said, "Oh, this just needs to be looked into." About her being a Russian plant, looked into, which means that she doesn't know. It's just something we ought to look into, just because she said so. But I mean, there's still people today that think that young lady is a Russian plant. Kind of like they think President Trump's still working with Russia behind the scenes. I mean, it's like they put their brain power on pause. Yeah, Coop. I mean, there's going to have to do a mixture of all kinds of things to get his agenda and get his people in there in place. And because a lot of them are, from what I understand, the older ones are now putting in for retirement before Trump gets into office. But to me, even if they retire, if they were doing something illegal while they were in office, or actually not just in office, but part of the permanent, unelected people, that all the staffers, because that's big part of the swamp is the staffers in Washington, D.C. So if they retire, that should not keep them from being looked into. Yeah, that's it. Hillary is, I think she promised something to Russia and she couldn't do it. And that's all of a sudden, if you remember correctly, they had that reset button. Uh, After that point, all of a sudden, Russia was our main enemy. Russia was our enemy, no matter what. No matter, they're good enough that we can have a space program with them, but everything else, they're our enemy. And what made them our enemy is Hillary Clinton said so. And then she tried to tie up Donald Trump in all that. And then Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, she used the crap out of the Russia thing. But people's brain power goes on pause. They don't remember all this stuff. And they still, they're, I don't know. It's like they're stuck in first gear and they don't know how to shift. Yeah, Coop. Bongino, I think, would be a person of interest for Trump to put somewhere when it comes to the Secret Service and stuff like that. Whether he will or not, I don't know. Bongino may not even want to do that. Um, because some people don't want in politics. They don't want no part of it. Uh, I get, and Dan Bongino tried to run for an office before and it didn't work out. So, maybe he doesn't want to do that. Who I thought would be a great person, which I thought would be was my first thought as far as Attorney General, was Trey Gowdy. I thought, in my mind, uh, President Trump should have asked Trey Gowdy if he wanted to be Attorney General. But he made his choice, and the choice is a unique one. And if President Trump is anything, he's an out of the box thinker. Yeah, Nancy, I agree too. That's why I've been making these videos about my small part. I mean, I don't have a lot of followers, but about the FEMA and the using FEMA to be support for the military, to go against the U.S. citizens who, if they do some shenanigans to keep Trump out of office, will rise up. And I think first they're going to like call some kind of martial law in fear of the crazy right wing people that we are. And they're going to do some kind of martial law, and they're going to come, and they know who we all are because of our voter registrations. Come knocking on our doors. Since you're under martial law, we want your guns. And then when you refuse to give your guns to them, then they'll arrest you for, being I wouldn't say insurrectionist, but a militant against the U.S. Government. So, you think Gowdy's a rhino, Dice? Really? I didn't really see it that way. I guess I mean, you can educate me on something I might be missing. Yeah, Gowdy. See, you say bailed. To me, he felt like Congress was broken. It was like a waste of time because they couldn't get nothing done ever. And so, and I remember when he said he was going to get out of politics because he couldn't see where he was making any difference because of how the system was working. So he, you know, to him, politics was something that you just didn't get nowhere with it. It's the way I took it. I mean, he when he first got out, he said it more eloquently than I am right now. But uh, I don't think he bailed because uh, somebody, you know, wanted him out of the way or nothing. I think he just got tired of politics. And he may, if let's say he was even asked, he may have probably said no, because he was pretty adamant about getting out of politics. It was too dirty of a job. He said, you know, people were too dishonest, and you know, you couldn't get nothing done. So he went back to his home state and started doing something to him that mattered. And then, you know, then he got that. I think he got a weekend gig with Fox, if I'm not mistaken, on Sunday. But you know, everybody has their opinions on everybody. I get it. Like I said, whenever I seen Trey Gowdy questioning somebody in a congressional hearing or whatever, I always thought he was on point and direct, and he couldn't. You know, they couldn't get around his logic, and it was, you know, it's kind of funny to watch the other side. Uh, Kind of get stuck with it. They couldn't figure out how to manipulate him, and I guess is the best way of putting it. So, anyways, he's not in public office anymore, so it don't really matter. Well, yeah, I mean, trashed Trump. I didn't really see him trash Trump in a way that I see where he disagreed with him on some things, and you're allowed to disagree with people. Uh, I still think pretty sure that I've seen where he said that he was the better person to be in office. And he may not agree with everything Trump did, but you know, he looks at things a little different. Politics just wasn't his thing. That's all I can say is we'll get off that subject because it's a non-subject because it don't really matter because he's not in there, so it's not a deal. It's not a deal we got to worry about. Of course, and then the last one I seen. Now he was gonna announce somebody today. I haven't seen it yet, but somebody else is going to get announced today. Somebody from a business world. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He mentioned him in a speech that he was going to nominate him for something, but I can't remember what the exact office was. But anyways, uh, you got RFK now, who is head of or will be head of Health and Human Services. A lot of people. Why? I don't get why they don't like RFK. What they're afraid of. I don't. It makes no sense to me. Uh, the fear mongering they do against this man. Okay, yeah, Dice. I didn't see that, and I think I seen where he was talking about. You know, some people, as a lot of people say, some of those people at the Capitol that day did some wrong stuff, but so many did not. And how they've treated the J6ers is just downright despicable. Now, I think Trey Gowdy probably blamed Trump for because putting that whole rally together. Uh, you know, and I was supposed to be at that rally that day, but we had an illness and didn't go. Not saying that I would even been at the Capitol. I would have been down there by the stage where all the speeches were being made. But So, you could be right. I just haven't seen that. I since Trey Gowdy got out of office, I haven't really seen much on him. Like I said, I see where I think he's got a weekend show on Fox, but I haven't really seen much from him. $3.54 does it. Hmm. Do you guys think that all these grocery stores across the entire country has been price gouging food, which is what Kamala Harris was claiming? And then her fix for it was to regulate prices, which we know that's not free market system. That's not how that works. Papa Bones. Yeah, JD. No, I know it's despicable. The stuff that's gone on with the J6ers. The people that I was talking about was the people that was busting out windows and literally holding the Capitol Police down and against. I mean, I've seen a lot of video, and I've seen where we know there was obvious FBI plants in there escalating this deal. You know, my thing is, I'm smart enough that I don't need some guy sitting there telling me I got to break into the Capitol to do my due diligence as a patriot. It's like you're not going to convince me to do something that I know is not right. But so many of them, I mean, they did. But so many people, they were just trying to. The government was trying to send a message to uh, conservative people, the Republicans. Can't go against the government, you'll lose. Well, I say bullcrap. That's the whole premise of our country is you can't have a government that is tyranny. You know, we've all been taught that. I'm sure most of us been taught that. Uh, if your government is tyrannical, then you have to. It's your due diligence. It's part of being a U.S. citizen to stand up against it. And and they tried to make it like the government is the end all be all, and they're going to control us and fearmonger. And I mean, I say fearmonger, but they literally put people in prison that are still there for trespassing. You got people that are in prison for sending text messages from another state. Uh, you know what I'm saying? And then like you said, you got a person that was up on stage at the time. But they considered him as like conspiracy to do this or whatever because of how whatever was said in the speech or whatever, which is dumb. It's like they made a big deal. Trump saying fight, fight, fight. That it was a call to violence. But then when you're seeing Kamala's concession speech, I don't know how many times she used that word fight in her speech. I think it was like close to 20 times, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, JD, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm not. I agree, and I think when Trump gets in office, for those he needs to pardon everybody that was not directly involved with damaging the Capitol that day to get in. And even those who did that out of commute their sentences as time served and let them out, all of them, because they've spent far more time in there. Even the ones who actually did something wrong, they've spent a far more amount of time in there than what somebody who would have got arrested in a regular riot. Uh, some would have never seen inside of a jail. They'd have had to pay a fine. Yeah, I think pardons and commuting the sentences should all around for all the J6ers. Yeah, it's and I got a friend. He's part of the John Frederick's conservative radio network, uh, news network. He's got a Rumble channel called KillerCarl. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be on his channel tomorrow night at 7:30, I think it is, on Rumble. KillerCarl. Uh, all the things in his advertisements and everything that he makes on Rumble for this Saturday night deal all goes towards uh, paying legal fees for the J6ers to help get them out. That's his whole premise of this Saturday night show is to help the J6ers out. Like I said, I'm usually on there every other Saturday, but I was on there last Saturday, but I think we're coming back. We're going to be talking about something this tomorrow night, so I should be on tomorrow night's show too. Killer Carl, 7:30 on Rumble. Yeah, Francis, that's what I'm saying. Everything that they claim his divisive language, his you know call to violence, everything he said is a call to violence, and or some. It's always something bad but you can play so many videotapes or clips of the left side politicians using the same language, if not worse, actually. But that's okay. They're all for joy and peace and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, JD. So if you got time, you want to roll in there. They have live chat on that one too, so you'll be able to chat with us. And Carl is a good dude. He is one thing about Rumble, guys. You can say what you want to say and just how you want to say it. It don't matter. As long as you're not calling for violence, you have free speech on Rumble. That's a cool thing about Rumble. They did, Coop. They did skew the law to keep them locked up. And this is where Merrick Garland, if you're watching this, we're coming after you. You're going to be put in prison. You already should be put in prison for contempt of Congress, just like Steve Bannon and Navarro they had to spend 4 months in prison for contempt of Congress. You should too, at minimum, that 4 months. But I think you've done so much other stuff that you probably should be locked up for far longer. All right, Dice. Thank you. I'll be here next Friday, 6:30, and then my night owl show Tuesday night, Wednesday morning to 1 a.m. That's for people who can't sleep, got different schedules, or I get a few people from across the pond that come in and hang out because it's obviously several hours difference there. YMCA. Yeah, JD, it was an entrapment. The whole deal is. But like I said, Merrick Garland needs to be investigated. Charges need to be brought. I think he's for political persecution, hate crimes. I mean, making up uh, crimes using different language just to uh, get some prosecutor that's on their side to skew the law a little bit to get somebody locked up, or like to call parents domestic terrorists. It's like, oh my God. You know, you could have somebody who gets violent at a school meeting, but let's be honest. At worst, that person should be arrested for fighting or something, not claim domestic terrorism. It's, so I'm saying they use all these federal terms for something that's actually a local crime at worst. So hopefully, knock on cheap wood, uh, President Trump gets in there. All these people get in there that he's wanting to get in his cabinet and really turn the volume up. Let's crank it up. Let's make it so uncomfortable for a lot of these people that they want to just bow out, because they're going to be facing serious consequences, because you know that they've done some wrong stuff. Wrong stuff. It's just I can't even go into all of it. It's just so much that I'd have to make a list. I literally would have to make a list of all the things that I've noticed over the last just 4 years that would uh, probably put a lot of those people, at least charges pressed against them, and hopefully convicted and thrown in jail. Coop, when this live stream's over with, I will go into the description of this live stream and I will put Killer Carl's link to his Rumble channel in there for the show tomorrow night. I will do that. And I'd do it right here, but I don't have it with me. I'd have to look it up, because all I get is an email from him to join in. And so all I got to do is click on the link and I'm in there. So I got flying around. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you know, I bet honestly the Trump rallies. Uh, who says they're over with? President Trump likes them too much. I think he'll find an excuse to do them, like the midterms. Uh, Hold rallies in the areas where he wants to get people, you know, in office. So he'll honestly, this is because that's Trump does love being around everybody. So I think he will use down ballot uh, politicians to get them to help get them in office, and use that for an excuse to have a rally. I believe so. The rallies I don't think are over with, to be honest with you. So we'll see how that goes. I believe he will. I believe he'll continue doing the rallies. Uh, but he's going to have to take better precautions. I mean, we need to keep this man safe. I mean, out of anybody in history, at least in my lifetime, uh, to think of their personal protection as much as we need to think of his, because they're claiming the CIA took out uh, you know John F. Kennedy. We'll probably find out more about that now, because I think President Trump promised RFK that he would make the files public. You know what gets me on that is I don't think there'll be much evidence in there because they talk about saving emails, saving back then they didn't have emails, but saving communications and written whatever's in written form. By law, you're supposed to save all that stuff. Well, if you know that's going to throw you in prison, would you care what the law was about saving documentation? Would you not get rid of it? So who's to say? You know what I mean? Kind of like what we were talking earlier. Uh, they're probably it's like the and I don't want to get off too far off topic, but like the FEMA, the young lady that got fired from FEMA was saying that she had reports on people that were aggressive towards her that were Trump supporters, but the reports disappeared. She had them in her computer, and she went to go retrieve them, and they had been deleted. Now, if they're capable of doing that in her computer, they probably are deleting, erasing, bleach bit, whatever you say, from now till Trump gets in office. So there's going to be a lot of written communication that is going to be gone. So it's going to be hard in some cases to prove certain things, but in other cases we have video evidence, so that doesn't go nowhere. We all have access to that. 1929, 30 billion, there's 29 billion pounds trying to trigger a crisis. 6 trillion debt. That will come tomorrow Saturday. That's crazy, isn't it? To be so many trillions of dollars in debt. And why is the debt clicking up so fast? Does anybody even ask that question? Because usually when they do the budget, whatever they set the budget at, then that's it. So why is it that the national debt keeps creeping up, 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 up? We all know the answer, which is obvious. They're spending more than they take in. But where's it going? Why is there so much money going out? And where's it going? What's it used for? Because we know most of the things in the country are uh, paid by in the billions, not the trillions. So how are we getting so far in the hole? I hope that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy can slow that debt down and hopefully reverse it. Because, some people are going to be butthurt on this because there's some stuff, because everybody knows you're going to be pro whatever if it affects your purse. It's like the people here in Springfield that love the Haitians being here. Love, love, love them being here. Good people, this, that, and the other, right? But you'll always find that their income is attached to them being here in some way, whether it be a social worker or some kind of a teaching deal or some kind of like homes, like renting homes, or there's so many ways, like these nonprofit or not nonprofit, non-government organizations that are pro-Haitian here in Springfield. It's because they get all this money from the government, so it's a good thing for their purse, but it's not a good thing for the country. So that way of thinking's got to change. Uh, if you are making an income by shitting on your own country, for one, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's all. I mean, you really should be. If you are making a living by selling your country down the river, uh, you really should look for another job. Okay, JD. Yeah, the Nancy, I agree on the Ukraine thing. Um, they talk about the military industrial complex. My thing is, we have a budget. Why are we spending anything over that budget for all this military stuff? That's not us. It's foreign entities. Did Congress approve all this? How is this being done? I mean, I always thought Congress had the say so over anything that was spent, but it don't seem like Congress has worked together in years, so they don't really get nothing done. So how are they working together long enough to spend our money and spend money we don't have? So what do you do about that? No, I didn't say a large amount of people love them being here. I'm saying that the ones that love having them here, typically when they're are pro Haitian, it's because it's affecting their income and of it. I'm not saying there's a bunch of people making money off of it. I'm saying that the people that get up in our local council meetings up at the podium for 3 minutes and praise the Haitians being here and how they usually shit on us somehow, saying that Haitians are doing the work that Americans are too lazy to do or whatever. I don't. Haitians are doing the work at a lot less income than what Americans need to make a living because the Haitians are subsidized through not just their job but the government themselves. So, uh, you know, when you have a house in this town that's being rented out for $1,800 a month. In this town, that's unheard of. Average rent around here before the Haitians got here was about $550 a month for a 2-bedroom house, between 550 and 700 tops. And so your person with a regular job can't afford to rent those kind of houses. But the amount of money that the Haitians are getting through government and other things, uh, they can afford it. So those people love having the Haitians here. Huh. Sorry, I was reading chat there. I learn a lot from you guys. Some things makes no sense to me, but and some things I wonder how I missed. Like when you guys tell me something I think I should have known and I don't know. Hey, it's, it's all education. We have a crack in the White House. Oh, wait a minute. You talking about like a crack or crack, like cocaine? Yeah, JD. No, I get it. Y- y'all remember the cocaine incident, right? And how it got. swept under the rug. It was a serious investigation for about 3 days, 4 days, and all of a sudden, boom, nothing. Which is kind of funny because, going through the White House is like one of the most secured locations ever with so much security and security cameras that you almost can't get away with anything in the White House. Um, but, of course, the rumor is that was actually Kamala's. And she asked Joe to ask Hunter to take the blame for it since he already had a drug problem and nobody would hold that against him, to keep her from having to uh, take responsibility for it. And you notice how the Secret Service people and the White House security staff dropped the whole deal. Makes you wonder. And I think Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden voted for Trump. What do you think? Hunter's lunch. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we'll wrap this up. I've got some more stuff coming for my next live. Um, I've got a video I'm going to play. Uh, it's Walter Cronkite. I don't know if some of you people probably remember Walter Cronkite. Uh, it's a video of him talking about Hillary Clinton. Very interesting. So hopefully I'll have no glitches on that. We'll be able to watch that. It's like 7-8 minutes long. I hope it don't bore you guys to watch something like that. It kind of will go into some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. Yeah, Richard and chat, I never paid attention to local politics until this past year. I've always done the national politics with no problem. The Senate, president, stuff like that, but never local stuff. You got to worry about your local stuff too. It's very important. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a local government like ours here in Springfield, Ohio. And you don't want that. They are weak. They are liars. They are cheaters. There's so many things that I could get into about our local politicians that is just, you just shake your head. But we're trying to fix that right now. And like I said, I was never part of the local politics till recently. So getting my head out of the sand, going to start moving forward, try to work on that and try to help and try to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Yeah, JD, it'd be interesting. And then there's a whole line of stuff I want to talk in my next live about all the connections of people who are connected to George Soros in one way or another. And I always say, follow the dots, connect the dots. And it's going to be, if you don't know the connection between all the people who are involved in politics that in one way or another are either related to or worked for or worked with George Soros and any one of him himself or one of his companies, and then end up working in government one way or another. It's very interesting. It's very disturbing, actually. You know how they say, that that good old boy mentality, to where people, he done me a favor, so I got to do him one back. It's what good old boys do. I think George Soros is definitely not a stupid man. Why he hates this country the way he does, I don't get it. And it's not like he needs any more money. I don't understand it doing it for financial reasons, because he spends enough money putting the right people in place, the right people for him. That is. Hey, Francis. Good night. Glad you came by. So, but yeah, so George Soros is the the coordinator of all this. I mean, he's been working on this for decades, and he literally, I haven't said he succeeded in it, but he's came very, very close in succeeding in destroying our way of doing things in this country, tearing down our system down to whatever socialized system that he's trying to make here. But most of us don't want. We want to have. I want to be responsible for me. I want to be self-reliant as much as possible. You know, you got. I require my government to do certain things, and I also require them to stay out of certain things. Hey, ordinary. You know, but you're not ordinary. That's right. I'm just a regular guy. I'm just an old mechanic. But so anyway, so I'm working on that. That'll be first thing. I'm gonna touch on it a lot. I'm gonna do it Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and then I'm gonna do a recap on it next Friday, and kind of wrap it all up. And then we're gonna continue on following the FEMA deal that up in Michigan, and the military action that they are planning to do uh, for Jeremy Raskin and all of them. So we'll see how that plays out. Like I said, the more people know, the less uh, chance they'll do it, because they will be prepared, and that's not what they want. They wanted to catch us off guard. So let's not let them do that. Let's let them know we know, which is what happened up in Michigan. When this story dropped and we started talking about it, they now changed their minds about putting that equipment there. So because once they realize we know, and we let them know we know, they changed the whole method of what they're going to do. Not saying they ain't got a backup plan, because they do, but we got to figure out what the backup plan is, and then bring that to everybody's attention. So, and I'm gonna work on that next. I'm gonna find out what this backup plan is, because they're not giving up that easy. I guarantee it. But we got to do our part. We got to keep it out there. We got to keep letting them know we know. That almost sounded like a Kamala speech, didn't it? You don't know till you know, and then once you know, you knew. And then if you know, they know, then they won't do it, because they know you know, and we know what we know. That was a good speech. See, I should be a politician. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. I want to uh, thanks for all the little glitches I've had tonight with my programming. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I'm still learning it, but it shouldn't have done what it did. I wanted to play some videos, some information to get out there better than what I can say just by talking to you guys. But we'll say goodnight. Yeah, unburdened by knowing to be unburdened. We unburdened them. Now that they know we unburdened them from having to go through with what they were going to know, or what they knew what they were going to do. So we did a good thing. And for those who actually called, that I never thought to do that. That was pretty brilliant to call them. And because I always think, okay, I know this now, and I let everybody know. That's how I do it. I put the information out there for the people on the channel to know. But I never thought to call them and let them know, hey, we know what you're doing. I suggest you don't. That's smart. That's just genius. I should have done that. Should have done that. Keep on keeping on. Hey, Papa. How's things at your house, Papa, since the election? I think I asked you that the other day. I don't know if you answered me or not. Hopefully things are calmed down. She didn't make a TikTok video or nothing, did she? She still got all of her hair. She didn't shave her head. Okay, guys. This is Jimmy Pockets, a.k.a. James of Empty Pockets Garage. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully I'll see you guys next week, same time. And we'll continue on trying to muddy up the waters of the other side, trying to do some shenanigans to keep our guy from getting in office. So I'll either see you Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, or I'll see you next Friday at the same time. And I will put the link to the Rumble podcast, live stream, or whatever you want to call it. I'll be on tomorrow with KillerCarl. And I'll put that in the description of this live stream. Yeah, Papa, she can make all the comments she wants now. Don't really change nothing for her, does it? I mean, it's not gonna do anything. Maybe she'll come around eventually. Once she realizes that he's not Hitler and nobody's gonna die, and we're not the ones that's trying to put people in concentration camps. The left is. So, and but we'll work on that. I am JD. I'm gonna post the link. I gotta look it up, and I'll post it in the description of this live stream. So, anyways, this is Jimmy Pockets, aka James, Jimmy Pockets Garage. Until next time.